Good evening. John here, John Augustine. Um, I'm doing a video about 1990 and certain important events that occurred in 1990. And one of the most important events was the election of Mary Robinson to be the first woman president of Ireland in 1990. She was a member of the Labour Party. She had been an unsuccessful candidate for the Dáil in the Rathmines and that South constituency, and she was a lecturer in law in Trinity College. And so she was well connected, and she was from County Mayo. I think Ballina, County Mayo originally. No. So there was good wishes for Mayo, because you always like to see somebody from that county being successful. And Mary was the first lady Prime Minister, the first president, beg your pardon. The first president when we got our freedom was Douglas Hyde. He was Church of Ireland Protestant, and that was a sign that we were not sectarian down here, even though Catholics were the majority, 90%. But the first president of Ireland was Douglas Hyde from French Park, County Roscommon. I visited his grave because I grew up in Boyle, and so I knew French Park. I knew people in French Park, so I visited his grave myself and my late wife, Judy. So she was elected president, and it was great. And there was great excitement. The opposition at the time was Brian Lenihan. He was Fianna Fáil. He came first, but there was a Fine Gael candidate who was a former SDNP member, and he joined Fine Gael, and he was elected TD. And he was a candidate. He come a week third, but his transfers helped Mary to be elected, and it was a good thing, because change is as good as the rest. De Valera was a president after Douglas Hyde, I think, and then Dr. Hillary. I don't know whether he was a medical doctor or a doctor of something else. Perhaps he was a medical doctor. He was from Clare, and he was president for 2 terms. Mary then was, as I say, president, and she was a good influence. She had candle lighting in the. That was one little initiative. She took a candle, a light in the window, and we often talk about the light of heaven, the light of our Saviour Jesus. But she had a light in the park, and it was a good initiative. I had the pleasure of visiting that Ars an Uachtaráin, as it was called, the House of the President in Irish, and it has a far better name when it's in Irish, doesn't it? Ars an Uachtaráin. This is the beauty of the Irish language. The period was ever compulsory because it has the continental touch to it. Ars an Uachtaráin. Lovely. And I happened to visit it when she was president. But she wasn't there at the time, the aide de camp, and we had a great visit. I was a member of a group at the time, and it was a marvelous experience to visit the apartments that we were allowed to visit. We weren't into their private quarters, but we saw enough, and our aide de camp was there, and we were facilitated very well. And I have a picture, and I'll show it later. I have a picture of my cousin. My cousin, Lord of Mercy, Gerard, who worked in Board Fortune, did a big job there, looking after visitors and bringing them around the country and bringing them out to dine and all the rest with important tourists. And so he did a good job. and he was photographed with President Robinson and her husband. Just to take, I'll get it now. Excuse me for a second. I just have to get it from the wall. You always have to be prepared, don't you? But it's beautiful when you're in your own abode or your own home. You do things a bit different. None of us are experts, are we? We do our best. But here's the picture. And my cousin is here. I'm shaking hands with President Robinson. You know, I see it shining. Let me see. And look at that. There's, and behind President Robinson is her husband. And he's a man with a beard. Where's my cousin? There's my cousin there, Jared Malone. And they're all smiling. Behind President Robinson is her husband. He has a beard. And he's smiling. And I noticed the aide de camp is across the way. They're all smiling. So it was good. That's when she was president. So he was very VIP at the time. I don't think I had the pleasure of that type of being greeted like that. But however, there you are. It's a nice gesture. So she was sociable, and she was a lecturer in Trinity College for that in law. So she was very intelligent and well versed in all the rest of it. And she was a marvelous president that we had, and we were delighted to have her. And funny enough, another lady, a former lecturer in Trinity College, also Mary McAleese. She was from the north originally, but she was down here for years, and she was the next president for 2 terms. Mary just stayed 1 term. I think she might have left before the end, but I'm not sure. But she become she become attached to the United Nations in human rights. So it's good to see changes in these important positions. And that it's not held by the sort of, we call them the elite in some ways. Mary, of course, was well qualified. She was a lawyer and lecturer and all the rest of it in law. So she would have been pretty qualified in that area. And so they were all, and President Hillary was doctor. Don't know whether he was a medical doctor or what. And so there you are. And as I say, De Valera was before that, and that was the time President Kennedy came here in 1963. I just digress a little bit because we're talking about the presidency, but Mary in particular. So that was 1990. What a great year it was. What a great year. Thank you. I hope you found that interesting, and a lot of you might not remember that it's not maybe spoken about the way it should be. Bye now.